Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, incredibly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Wednesday, August 31st, 2022. This is live stream 824. If this is your first time stopping in to join me, let me point out, super casual around here. We just hang out talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news and take a peek at a tabletop game. So we are not conducting any sort of rocket surgery or anything like that, that's for sure. Tonight, it is a Wargame Wednesday because we are going to unbox and take a first look at the Musket Pike Dual Pack from GMT Games. This includes a couple of previously released and out-of-print Wargames, both This Accursed, Civil War, and Sweden Fights On. So we're going to be taking a look at this in just a bit. Do want to mention, if you're not familiar with the format of the stream, we do tackle the tabletop gaming news first. So it'll be probably 30 to 35 minutes before we dive on into the Musket Pike Dual Pack. So if you're watching live, kick back, relax, enjoy yourself, take it easy, pamper yourself for a change. But if you are watching 30 minutes or more after this stream ends, you can actually jump past the tabletop gaming news if you would like. There'll actually be timestamps all throughout the video, so you can jump right into the unboxing if you would like. And depending on what device you might happen to be watching this on, those timestamps might be right there in the timeline, so you can just touch it and go. So there is that. Do also want to point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you won't find here on the YouTube channel. And it is a redesign of the website as well, although I have to admit, there is a bit of, I think it's a JavaScript error going on right now. So I'm going to have to fix that. The front page, the landing page, the home page just doesn't look right on Firefox, especially. Chrome, it seems to be okay. So I think it's a JavaScript issue that I will work on, because tomorrow will mark the anniversary of thegaminggang.com. That's right. It was on September 1st of 2010 that Elliot Miller and I actually let people know that we existed. We started actually posting articles and reviews and things like that back on August 1st, but it was all hush hush. So that's why when people showed up, they were like, wow, where were you guys? I'm not familiar with you guys. We had content, so it wasn't like, hey, come look at our website. We've got one post. And then people would be like, I'm not going back there. They had nothing there. I'm smarter than I look. Not by much, but I am smarter than I look. Also, this is live stream, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Yet another way that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. So first out the gate tonight is John Vogel. I know John Vogel's been chomping at the bit. He's like, it's a Wargame Wednesday. It's back. Coco B is with us. Clint Gibson, Russell Higgins, and Viper Dave. It has been a while since we've seen Viper Dave. Good to have everybody hanging out with me tonight. So we're going to jump on into the news because I've got a nice eclectic mix. Because arriving in September is Disney Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas Merry Madness. Say that 5 times fast. It is from the AAW Games. I've got the skinny. Jack's plan to deliver toys to Christmas Town went haywire after his Halloween Town helpers started throwing gifts at each other instead, resulting in Merry Madness. This will be the spookiest Christmas ever, and Jack Skellington's instructions are simple. Whack, pound, and glue all the toys together and toss them into Santa Claus's Christmas bag. In the game, players race to fling the presents based on the outcome of each dice roll. Combinations tell players what item to send flying, how many of the item to send, and where to send the item. Featuring multiple ways to play for even more mayhem and fun. Setup and gameplay are easy. In the first variation, place Santa Claus's Christmas bag board in the center, and each player takes 3 dice each and a character player board with evenly distributed and random items placed on top. Gameplay starts and players roll the dice. Taking action. Why do I have this magic up here? What is going on? Boy, I'm telling you, this thing is just... I swear, I gotta check my memory on this because that is not supposed to be popping up. Yeah, so we're talking about Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, Merry Madness, and all of a sudden Magic the Gathering pops up. Yep. Anyway, gameplay starts and players roll the dice, taking actions based on the roll. Once your board is empty, shout, "This is Halloween!" to score the round. First player to earn 3 points wins. In another variation, you must roll the dice and gather Christmas toys from other player boards and Santa Claus's Christmas bag to complete sets of toys. Each complete set of supplies earns you a point. And once again, first player to earn 3 points wins. Join Jack, Sally, Zero, Mayor, and Lock, Shock, and Barrel in this all-out game of frightful flinging and be the first one to get the presents in Santa Claus's bag to win the game. Disney Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas Merry Madness is for 3 to 5 players, ages 6 and up, plays in around 10 to 15 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $24.99 when it arrives in late September. I will point out, I have heard 2 varying player counts. I have heard 3 to 6 and 3 to 5 players. So I am not positive. So we're going to take a look. We're going to see the player boards come around again. And I am going to take a stab in the dark. That's going to tell us how many players we can have. I think it's probably going to be 3 to 5. No, it is 6. There are 6 of them. It is 3 to 6. Sweet. Kathy Evans is in chat with us. Sarah D, one of our chat moderators, has popped out to say howdy to everybody. So this looks kind of interesting. A lot of people love The Nightmare Before Christmas. I personally think it's pretty cool. I have not seen it in years. One of these days, I got to watch it again. Because I always did dig it, but I was never enraptured by it like some people are. I think it's a fine film for kids and adults, but I just never, got really, really into it like some people do. But it looks like this is pretty interesting. And those little tokens for the various different gifts and stuff, They look pretty chunky, so probably will hold up to repeated play as well. Moving right along, Capstone Games has revealed a new board game that's coming this fall. In fact, it's going to make a first appearance in Essen. But I've got the scoop on Rise. Ta-da! In Rise, you are responsible for the economic and social development of a city. In addition, you must also nurture the well-being of the citizens. Can you balance industrial progress and environmental pollution to keep your citizens happy and content? You'll need money to further develop the city. But how much will you raise taxes and rent to do so? A multitude of different options await you in Rise to make these life-changing choices. Experience the great challenges with over 1,000 unique combinations that the variable game setup can provide. Navigate your way through new actions and events each game to make Rise the city of everyone's dreams. In Rise, you assume responsibility for the development of the city. There are not many limits to your possibilities. On various tracks, you can influence how best to provide for your citizens' well-being, whether through culture, science, or political relations. But all of this can be achieved only in accordance with the respect for conservation of the environment and the satisfaction of the population. The game revolves around 10 tracks in which you move your markers to gain further effects and gather influence. The unique and innovative card mechanism, which includes events and tough decisions, will change your decision-making from round to round. Once 12 rounds have been played, players count their points to see who was able to accumulate the most influence in the city and be declared the winner. Rise is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up. That seems kind of low for what this sounds like. I don't know. Plays in 60 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $54.95 when it hits stores in November. Right now, Capstone Games is taking pre-orders. So, like I said, this is going to make its first appearance at Spiel in Essen. And then after that, about a month later, it is going to start hitting stores. Could be very interesting. Capstone Games makes good stuff. Very interesting games. I really liked Watergate a lot. Had a lot of fun with that. This could be very unique. And I like that whole kind of, you're not necessarily building a city, but you are influencing the city itself, I guess we'll say. Flaming Huron is with us. So we've got a couple of our chat moderators hanging out with us tonight. So let's talk a little bit about some role-playing game news, because currently up on Kickstarter for Adventure a Week Games is Roltemurk. Here's the dish. Deep in the Barovian mountains stands a monolithic spire of stone, peppered with ancient ruins, and mostly forgotten. The spire contains a temple complex rich in history and steeped in the mysteries of the past, untouched for a millennium. But it is not without its dangers, for ancient evil stagnates within. This is Roltemurk, where, according to legend, the very land died to the sound of a single falling tear. From a Native American looking at garbage. Roltemurk is a deluxe adventure about duality. It is challenging, deadly, and intended for 4 to 6 characters of levels 5 to 7. The adventure marks Jonathan G. Nelson's return to adventure writing after his critically acclaimed success, Rise of the Drow Collector's Edition, which is excellent. You should check out my review. This includes playstyles of ruin exploration, investigation, and dungeon delving, wasteland archaeology, explore ancient ruins, marvel at murals, decipher a lost language, and piece together clues. There's visions of the past, live through horrors of millennia past, and role-playing rich investigation. It's a challenging dungeon. Test your mettle against an interactive and dynamic dungeon. And there's also a new flow stagnation mechanic, 2 different modes for monsters and magic items. There's even a hardcore mode, which makes a difficult adventure truly unforgiving and deadly. What is Gary Gygax running it? Brutal, unique monsters that also require both brains and brawn to defeat. There are 3 nightmarish bosses to challenge even the most experienced groups. Logical environments reward players for paying attention and engaging with the wonders of Rotmurk. There's extensive guidelines and at-a-glance sections to keep your game running smoothly. Plus, there are player handouts, so you get to show the heroes what they see rather than just describing it. Now, there is a Kickstarter video. It clocks in at about a little more than 3 minutes. So let's kick back and give it a peek. You can score a copy of Rudmork in PDF for a $29 pledge, or grab the hardcover with PDF for a $44 pledge through September 29th. There are a few other pledge levels, of course, but those are kind of the 2 main ones. Expected delivery, ready for this December. So that is a quick turnaround. Very, very nice. There is also a preview PDF that you can download to check out. That's where some of these images come from, is from the preview PDF. Looks like some very cool artwork. And once again, I thought Rise of the Drow was excellent. Really, really well put together. And this is from the same author. Flaming Heron asks, comes with music? As far as I understand, that's what the Kickstarter video was indicating. So pretty cool. Sarah D mentioned that she has been dealing with neck pain all week long. Does that have anything to do with Mr. Eddie T? Like pain in the neck, you know, get it? No, I'm teasing. Hopefully you feel better. Sarah says she just went to a second chiropractor or second visit to a chiropractor. I have never been to a chiropractor. I dated somebody who used to go like twice a week. And one time I went in there with her and it was like, oh no, whoa, all that cracking and snapping. It's like, oh geez, no thanks. I'll pass. There is a new bundle of holding which has arrived, and it features the True 20 system from Green Ronin Publishing. Here are the deets on the deal. Adventurer! This all-new True 20 bundle presents, you guessed it, True 20, the streamlined D20-based tabletop role-playing game from Green Ronin Publishing. Using modifications derived from the first editions of Green Ronin's Mutants and Masterminds and Blue Rose, True 20 introduces new character, combat, and experience systems that simplify the D20 system that powers 3E Dungeons and Dragons and first edition Pathfinder. See why True 20 holds respect as one of the most interesting variants to emerge from the D20 system boom. For just $7.95, you'll get all three titles in the core collection, which has a retail value of $40, as DRM-free PDFs, including the complete True 20 revised core book from 2008, its campaign planner, and the True 20 bestiary. And if you pay more than the current threshold price, Lisa was this afternoon, of $19.19, you'll level up and also get the entire bonus collection with 6 more supplements worth an additional $61, including all 3 role book rules expansions, the Expert's Handbook, Adept's Handbook, and Warrior's Handbook, plus Fantasy Paths, True Sorcery, and Cybernetics. The savings will run through September 19th, and 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to this offer's pandemic-related charity. You guessed it, Direct Relief. Good deal. I will point out, I know nothing about True 20. In fact, I was not really part of the D20 boom because I still was just running Call of Cthulhu. And the D20 boom, if I remember correctly, that was kind of going on when I was out in Arizona. And I didn't run a lot of role-playing games. Especially, well, I was out there for about 10 years. So for about 5 of them, 5 or 6, I ran stuff every once in a while. But yes, I know there are people out there who swear that the D20 boom almost destroyed role-playing games. I don't know if that's the case. That goes right up there with people saying that Vampire the Masquerade nearly destroyed role-playing games. It wasn't good for other publishers when you'd go to a store and all the Vampire and World of Darkness stuff had squeezed everything off the shelves, but it didn't almost kill the hobby. So Sarah says she started going to the chiropractor after she was in an accident. And a doctor said, oh, well, if physical therapy doesn't work, we'll talk spine surgery. Ouch. Oh, my God. Sarah says, and yes, I have referred to the neck injury as my other pain in the neck a few times this week. Well, I certainly hope you feel better soon. I know I every once in a while I have problems with my back. And funny enough, there was a problem with my mattress. So once I took care of that, most of the back issues went away. So it's like, wow. So yeah, there was a divot in the mattress I didn't know existed because I didn't sleep on that side of the mattress, but I guess I would kind of lean that way as I slept or whatever. But once I flipped the mattress over, most of those back issues went away. Thank you. Very nice. 245 Trioxin is with us, as is Anthony Good is with us in chat as well. We got a nice chat off and running tonight. So very nice. My final news piece. The newest adventure for Dungeon Crawl Classics is available from Goodman Games. Here's the latest on Dweller Between Worlds. Doom blankets the land as rumors spread of a dire evil rising in the east. For the first time in living memory, the winter snows have arrived before the harvest, bringing with them an unnatural, bitter chill. And in taverns and inns, travelers whisper of strange creatures emerging from the ancient forest, said to leave entire villages standing silent and empty of inhabitants. Now a call has gone off across the country to gather the clans to discuss the dark tidings and decide how to oppose this growing threat. As the banners of a dozen chiefs and thanes are raised, the PCs must ready for an uncertain war against an unknowable foe from the spaces between dimensions. Winter is coming. That's basically what they're telling you. Dweller Between the Worlds is a Dungeon Crawl Classics role-playing game adventure intended for a group of 5 to 6 level 1 characters. So this is not a funnel adventure. Keep that in mind. The 26-page PDF is available right now over at Drive-Thru RPG for $6.99. I know people keep asking, why do I keep sharing news about Goodman Games when they kind of don't want to have anything to do with me? And it's like, because I like their stuff. So it's like, maybe one day it'll be like, yeah, this guy's nothing but persistent at least. Russell says they haven't played True 20 in over a dozen years. It was good, but not his cup of tea. All right. If we had Kevin R. Smith in chat, he's sort of our RPG historian in ways. I'm sure he would kind of be able to fill us in a bit more on True 20, as well as the just glut of D20 role-playing games we had back in the day. That's it for the news tonight. Of course, my final news piece, I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit Drive-Thru RPG, by all means, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you like what we do, you can always just swing on over to paypal.me/thegaminggang and make a small donation. And thankfully, there are plenty of folks who either kick a couple of bucks over on paypal.me or utilize those banner ads and really, really do help us out. So thank you very kindly. All righty. So if you were watching on Monday's show, I was talking about and sharing a first look at Dune Adventures in the Imperium Agents of Dune, and I announced a contest. So all you had to do was be a subscriber and also comment on the video about what you dug about Dune. Didn't matter if it was the game, the role-playing game, movies, novels, what have you. And I was going to randomly select someone. And the winner is Will Briggs. So, Will, do me a favor. Send an email to Jeff McAleer at thegaminggang.com from your email address that's associated with your YouTube account. And I will make sure to get you a copy of the Dune Adventures in the Imperium core book, as well as Agents of Dune in PDF. Tessie Trekkie has popped in saying hello to all of us human carbon-based life forms. Well, I guess you're not saying hello to me then. Seeing I'm an android. I thought everybody knows that. Anyway, we're going to get into the unboxing of Musket and Pike in just a few moments, but there were a few things I did want to mention. Tomorrow, once again, is going to mark the anniversary of thegaminggang.com. We launched in 2010, so been at it for a while. Still at it. Still plugging away. And hopefully I'll get the JavaScript issue on the front page taken care of. I swear, it's always something. When you're doing a redesign, it's always something. It's like playing a whack-a-mole. It's like, oh, took care of that. Oh, hey, why is that 500 error coming up? Oh, those thumbnails aren't showing up. What the? Hey. And thankfully, I don't get too worked up about it. Like, okay. All right. I'll get it all ironed out. Tessie Trekkie says, note to self, secure EMP device for inevitable cyborg rebellion. Oh, of course. Of course it's coming. Also, we should hit 8,000 subs for the channel sometime in September. So that's kind of cool. We're almost at 7,900. I think we're just a handful away. 245 Trioxin says, I feel your pain. I do web development as a career. Yeah, well, it's not my career, but yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I've said it before. When I first started doing this, I knew nothing about web design or WordPress or manipulating images, video, audio, none of that. So, hey, at least, it's kept me busy. It's kept me out of trouble for the most part. So the other thing I did want to mention is I've had people ask, how can they help spread the word about the Gaming Gang? And it's actually really easy, especially here on YouTube, because YouTube has their algorithm, and that algorithm is based on a few different things. One of them, or I should say two of them, I guess, would be engagement as far as thumbs up and thumbs down. I'll be very honest. The negative does actually work in your favor too, as long as it's not overwhelmingly negative. And comments on the videos. So the more thumbs and more comments leads YouTube to place videos along the side there for, oh, well, when you're done watching that, you might like this. So that's one of the easiest ways to do it. So when you're sitting there and you're thinking, hey, I like the Gaming Gang. I'll throw them a bone. I want to see, them continue to grow. Pretty easy. Thumb up the video, comment. And that's one of the reasons why I have contests where it always involves leaving a comment, because I understand that will help get those videos in front of more eyes. And I appreciate those of you out there who retweet my news pieces and the videos and things like that. Thank you very much. I know there are a few folks out there who do that. Very cool. Thank you kindly. All right. So once again, we are going to be taking a look at Musket and Pike, the dual pack, in just a couple moments. But first, it's time for a brief intermission.
It is our pleasure to welcome you to Skyline. For the information of those who are attending a drive-in theater for the first time, the following hints will make you feel at home and add to your enjoyment. Firstly, if you've not already done so, remove the speaker from its stand and place it within the car. Secondly, adjust the volume control to right for loud, left for soft. For mobile snack bar service, flick down switch on right. We must issue this warning. No attempt should be made to disconnect the speaker. To do so, we'll immediately register on a red light on our control panel. The Skyline caters for every member of the family. Let the children enjoy themselves in the playground. And everybody will want to visit the snack bar, where appetizing food and drinks are always available. And the barbecue for that luscious, juicy steak. One final word. When the performance ends, and before moving, replace the speaker on its stand. You then drive forward, and you move to the right. You must never reverse out of your position. Thank you, everyone. We trust you have a pleasant evening.
On guard! Salute Wilkins Coffee. But I don't drink Wilkins Coffee. Some learn, some don't.
Precious, and the soda's delicious. Try some today. We are the Intermission Quartet. Some quartet. We sell refreshments at the Met. At the Met? So if you should want to get delicious ice cream, soft drink, popcorn, candy. Candy, I like candy. It tastes just dandy. It comes in handy when I fight the bull. The popcorn's puffy, so crisp and fluffy. We all eat popcorn until we're full. Oh, how I love the soft drinks here. They taste as good as the lager beer. And now our operetta ends. We'll have an intermission, friend.
Did I hear that correctly? Did the Skyline Drive-In say they had steaks? I don't know. Would I have trusted a steak at a drive-in theater? Of course, that did look like that was like late 40s, maybe early 50s. I guess maybe back at that point in time, I probably would have trusted a steak from a drive-in theater. Flaming Heron says, speaker theft must have been a real thing. I gotta be honest, I think those speakers, you could actually hook up, back in the day, you could actually hook them up to radios. So I think that was actually a thing. Now, I know a lot of times, I knew somebody who actually forgot to take the speaker out of a window and drove away. And it's like, how could you forget that big ass metal thing was sitting there on the window? So I know that would happen. But I guess people did rip off drive-in speakers. Weird. And of course, Wilkins died. He was run through by Wilkins all over coffee. I don't know. All right, tonight I am going to unbox and take a first look at the Musket and Pike Dual Pack from GMT Games. This game series is designed by Ben Hull, and this box actually contains two games. This Accursed Civil War and Sweden Fights On. It is available right now and does carry an MSRP of $75. Tessie Trekkie says the local drive-in near where they grew up had barbecue steak in the 90s. So good with onions in a sandwich. We see a ton of barbecue ads for drive-ins. I've shared a few Smithfields, but there are other ones too. So yeah, that was a thing. Barbecue was a big deal at drive-ins. I just don't know about steaks. Yeah, I'll take the T-bone. Well, my girlfriend and I go watch the giant Gila monster. Thanks. Much appreciated. Swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Musket and Pike, the dual pack. Let's get the shrink wrap off of this. So I will point out that the fine folks over at GMT Games were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. And of course, these days, it's very important that you know that. Let's take a look at the back. So this is for 2 players. Plays in 4 to 8 hours, depending on the battle that you are playing. It's for ages 14 and up as well. 5 out of 9 on the complexity scale. I say it all the time. I tend to find GMT low balls their complexity, so this might be closer to a 6, in my opinion. But it is relatively solitaire suitable as well. So it is a 6 out of 9. The Musket and Pike Dual Pack contains 2 17th century tactical battle games from the award-winning Musket and Pike series. This Accursed Civil War and Sweden Fights On. Both have been out of print for over a decade. For this special edition, 2 new battles have been included. Get ready, I'm going to completely mispronounce all of this. Sheraton and Cropredy Bridge. I think Cropredy Bridge is from the English Civil War, if I remember correctly. All orders of battle and maps have been updated to reflect the latest scholarship. There are a total of 11 battles included. And of course, we will take a peek at those. And Quantum Phase Dragon is joining us. Hoping all is well with the family. Yes, my dad's doing very well. In fact, he was just out taking a walk. So he is recovering very nicely from the triple bypass, thankfully. All right, so that's the playbook. This is the playbook. Here is the rule book. So we get playbooks for both. Nice. As I mentioned last night, this box is pretty hefty. Although I don't think we've got mounted boards. I think we've got paper maps because so many battles. All right, let's jump on in here. Just going to kind of breeze through this pretty quick. It says the Musket and Pike Battle Series. How about I actually refer to it by its correct title? Is a series of tactical battle games covering the period from 1630 to 1680. The system is meant to highlight the peculiarities of warfare in that period and the impact of the limitations of command and control. To date, 6 games have been published in the series. This Accursed Civil War, Sweden Fights On, Under the Lily Banners, I know that's out of print, Gustav Adolf the Great, Nothing Gained But Glory, and Saints in Armor. I saw Saints in Armor way, way back in the day. So I may have even had a video of that. It's been a long time. It's got to be 10 years or more. All right, just taking a peek here, talking about the various different playing pieces, the various different counters and tokens, our sequence of play, initiative and activation, our glossary, leaders and orders. Leaders are used to influence and control the actions of the units under their command. Each battle, per scenario rules, will have an army commander and multiple wing commanders. So I wonder if you've got activation points to be able to utilize. So we have facing and formation. Obviously, that would be very important, especially in this time period. Movement, stacking, reaction movement, intercepting another unit. Have fire combat, as well as we've got cavalry pistol fire, normal infantry fire, salvo fire from heavy infantry, LOS, close combat. Yeah, warfare during this period was kind of a mess. So, because for one, we have black powder weapons, and I don't think anybody really understood their capabilities. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think it was until probably the American Civil War, towards the end of the American Civil War, when commanders finally started to realize the incredible firepower of black powder weapons. All right, so we've got this Accursed Civil War playbook. All right, relax there, autofocus. You don't have to be locking on to everything. I point this out all the time whenever I'm talking about GMT releases. I tend to read the playbooks first, because a lot of times there's a nice example of play. So this is this Accursed Civil War, but here it's referred to as the Accursed Civil. Oh, maybe the title changed. It says the Accursed Civil War was first published as a desktop published game in 1999. GMT Games published the first edition in 2002. It is our pleasure to present this second edition 20 years later. We have worked hard to incorporate more historical research into this edition, as well as clean up any errata from the original. We appreciate your support and patience and hope you enjoy the game. The game gets its title from the following poignant quote: "In this unhappy battle was slain the Lord Viscount Falkland, a person of inimitable sweetness and delight in conversation, of so flowing and obliging a humanity and goodness, that if there were no other brand upon this accursed civil war than that single loss, it must be most infamous and execrable to all posterity." Interesting. So we get some information about the various different counters. Then we're going to jump into our scenarios. So this is the first English Civil War. So we've got first Newbury. Then, of course, we get our historical background, discussion of the battle itself, and the prelude leading up to it. Various different setups. So it looks like we've got a couple of options here. So we've got a royalist and a parliamentary forces. Nice. Kind of interesting how we have these orders of battle here, and we get some historical notes on him as well that I would take a wild guess really don't have anything to do with play. That's kind of cool. So it's telling us like who their commander was for these different brigades. So we have Marston Moore. Tessie Trekkie says 20 years. Wow. Yeah, there are war games out there that have gone longer than 30 years without seeing a reprint. I say it all the time, and I know we're talking GMT Games, but Avalon Hill, there were some really, really solid games from Avalon Hill that Hasbro just has no interest whatsoever of even sniffing. And Part of the problem too is it's very, very difficult to get Hasbro to actually, even license stuff out. See it very, very rarely. I like the fact that we get some nice historical notes. I can't get over. I think that's so cool that we've got that. And we get some designer notes about the English Civil War, organization tactics, and weapons. Cool. Very interesting. So we have 7 battles. Grand total in this. Then we have Sweden Fights On. And this has 4 battles. But this playbook's like 40 pages long. So once again, we get some general information about the counters and tokens. I'm not even going to try pronouncing this stuff. We've got our different scenarios here. And this should be from the 30 Years' War. So off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember. I'm sure we've got somebody hanging out in chat that's going to let me know if I'm right about this. Isn't the 30 Years' War also the War of Spanish Succession? Or am I like way off? I might be way off. But for some strange reason, and I know the 30 Years' War it had a lot of religious overtones to them. But in the end, it really didn't matter because Catholics were fighting Catholics, Protestants were fighting Protestants. So very nice. Once again, we get some historical notes, not as detailed as we saw for this accursed Civil War, but still some cool, just commander notes. And of course, each of these gives us the background, the battle, of course, our setup for the battle as well. Looks like we actually get a breakdown of what happened in the battle, the aftermath. I thought I just saw something that said aftermath. Oh, outcome. Shane Sangster is with us in chat. Good to see you, Shane. Says they love history. Looks like 30 Years' War right now. Yes, it is. This is Sweden Fights On, which is part of the Musket and Pike Dual Pack. So we've got our historical and designer notes, game tactics, some more designer notes as well. So differences with the English Civil War and the 30 Years' War. Let's see. Typically, the 30 Years' War armies were 1.5 to 3 times as large as the English Civil War armies. The larger, more professional 30 Years' War armies fought larger battles of destruction that led to more casualties as a percentage of troops involved. Artillery was used in much greater concentration than in the English Civil War, with the 30 Years' War armies having 2 to 5 times as many pieces as their ECW counterparts. The 30 Years' War artillery was also better organized and more mobile during engagements. Control of cavalry units was a huge problem in the ECW, much more so than with the mercenary cavalry of the 30 Years' War armies, costing victory in several instances. Many of the English and Scots officers saw extensive service with the Swedish army and adopted some of its methods in the English Civil War. Interesting. Very cool. I have to point out, I am not all that up on this period of history in Europe. Sweet. So that is the playbook for Sweden Fights On. So we also have some player aid cards. We're going to have a bunch of counters. I'm kind of trying to dig through the box here to get some of this stuff close to the top. So we've got a couple of player aid cards. Move that out of the way here. So we got orders and activation tables. Terrain effects. Got an interception table, formation effects on movements. We've got our fire tables. For heavy infantry, we got the heavy infantry, light infantry, and cavalry, as well as artillery. We got our close combat tables. So we've got 2 of these. And then we also have a player aid card number 2. There's only 1 of these. I'm going to take a guess. This is probably used. Maybe it's used for Sweden Fights On. So it looks like we've got a new interception table, new artillery fire, but everything else looks like it kind of stays the same. Got scenario cards for the battles. That's kind of cool. So we got our turn track. So this is scenarios 1 and 3. Scenario 2. So it talks about our special rules, our victory conditions. Sweet. I always dig these, like, just kind of little extras that you'll see with a lot of war games. So I believe this color is going to be this Accursed Civil War. And then we should have, I was going to say one of them on the back should have another scenario because we have the 4 battles in Sweden Fights On. But we also have the combatants. I think that's kind of cool. We've got that as well. We have a bunch of counter sheets. So I will actually hold this up. Hopefully we get a better look at these. It appears that I am in focus here. Let's try to get a little better look. So we've got commanders. Yeah, those are units. Because I know that we've got some units that are actually kind of like double counters. We'll see that in just a moment. So that is the first. Here's the next one. And it looks like we actually have, like, we have little it looks like these are little soldiers on there. That's pretty wild. Here we go. Here are these. They're kind of like dual sized or double sized counters right here. I would take a guess maybe those are brigades. And of course, take a look at the other side as well. So that is 3 counter sheets. Looks like we've got 6 in total. So you are certainly going to want to get your hands on counter trays. Now it's possible we'll take a look. There might be a counter tray in this box. With this many counters, I don't know if we'll see one or not. Because this actually looks like you'd probably need far more than just 1 counter tray. Here we've got our next. Got some more of those large large size units there. And then here is our final counter sheet. So it looks like this is mainly informational counters on here. I know that the two games that are actually included, I almost said located. Why would I say located? The two games that are included in the Musket and Pike Dual Pack, we're going for quite a bit on the secondary market. So thankfully, now you'll be able to pick this up for far less. In fact, I think they were actually going for more than the MSRP for both. All right, so these are treated maps. So they aren't just paper. So there is a treatment to them. They are thicker than just a standard paper map. Really, actually very nice. So these will actually hold up to a little bit of a beating. I don't want to say that you can spill drinks on them, because that's certainly not going to be the case. So we've got a few of these as well. So, of course, each of the battles we have indicated on the map. Open this up. So some of them are kind of like half map. All right. So here we've got this. And then we have this battle as well. Creprity Bridge. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. And then on the back, nothing. So there's nothing on the back of that. They just keep coming. So this second Newbury. It's a Dunnington Castle. Speenhamland? Man, I sure like that. Speenham. There's Newbury here. So this is one battle on this. And then we have Naseby on the back. And yet another. We've got one more after this. So this is from Sweden Fights On. Give you a peek here. That's the battle there. Then we have Whitstock. So you need a decent amount of space, but not a huge table. None of these battles are taking up more than one of these maps here. All right, here's the final one. Take a look at this here. This is also from Sweden Fights On. There we go. Pretty nice, kind of traditional war game maps here, at least the design style. Solid. All right. And this is the final of the maps here. All right. So then we've got a couple of 10-sided dice and a slew of baggies, as well as our insert. So we got the baggies, the dice, 6 of these maps, and 5 of them were dual-sided. It appeared that 5 of them were. We also have the battle cards, the Player Aid 2 standard Player Aid cards, 6 punch boards of counters. Whoops. I forgot one of the battles there. Slip that on in there. We've got the Sweden Fights On playbook, this Accursed Civil War playbook, and the Battle Series rules. And that's what we find when we take everything from Musket and Pike, the Dual Pack, outside the box. Very interesting, very unique looking series. And these are wars that we don't see tons of war games actually tackle. So pretty cool. So Tessie Trekkie says, one thing I've always wondered about is what happens when a single counter gets lost in these games, particularly if it's a vital one. Yeah, well, any game, when you lose a counter, it's kind of a pisser. So at least a lot of times with games now, I didn't see it with Musket and Pike, but a lot of times, in fact, with a lot of GMT games, they'll have like on the back of a rule book, they might have the counter sheet, or you might see the counter sheets inside the playbook. So if for some reason you were to lose a counter, you could conceivably reproduce it. Now, I'll be the first to point out, it's got nothing to do with GMT, but Dawn of the Zeds from my good friend Herman Luttman from Victory Point Games. Loved it. I was playing it with my nephew Cameron and one of his friends, and they lost one of the standees for one of the characters, one of the protagonists. It's like, thanks a lot. Thank you very much. So it was basically, I'm out of luck. So it's like, okay, so this counter here represents, but the funny thing is the counter actually had like info on it. And it's like, well, great. What was that info? You know, like movement or combat value or something like that. Thanks a lot. So yes, most people try to take care of their games. I know I do, so I don't lose anything. But yeah, it can be very frustrating if you lose a counter to a game and it's, you know, something that's not easily replaced. So there is that. John Vogel says this looks great. Yes, it looks very cool. Once again, the Musket and Pike Dual Pack includes this Accursed Civil War and Sweden Fights On. It is out right now. It does carry an MSRP of $75. And I say it time and time again, whenever we're looking at GMT releases, they don't have huge print runs. So if you have any interest whatsoever in any of the GMT games that we take a peek at, grab them now. Don't wait till later, because even if it's a very popular game, it's still a couple of years or more before you see a new print run come out or a new P500 for that game. And as we see with the dual pack here, those two games have been out of print for over a decade. So if you're interested in Musket and Pike, do not wait. Grab it now. All right. So that is it for tonight's show. Next week, we're going to be diving on in on Tuesday, because there will be no show on Monday because of the holiday. But next week, we're doing Kobold Press again. So on Tuesday, we'll be taking a look at the Book of Ebon Tides, or Eben Tides. I'm going to have to take a look to see how that's pronounced. So this will be on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we are going to take a look at Tales from the Shadows. And it looks like kind of like maybe a Frankenstein monster-ish character on the front there. Maybe. So that is what's cooking next week. So if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings, if there's not a holiday, at 7 p.m. Central right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming first look at the Pathfinder Lost Omens Travel Guide and my review of the Castles and Crusades Player's Handbook. So keep an eye peeled. Those will be out later this week and into the weekend. Yaha! Alrighty. So if you were watching live, thank you very much. Always appreciate you taking time out to catch the show. If you took part in chat, big tip of the cap to you. Thank you very much for not only keeping me company, but each other company as well. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you won't find on the YouTube channel. Of course, I know a lot of you out there never have an opportunity to watch any of these videos live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. I really do appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your busy lives to watch any of the videos on the channel. Alrighty, everybody enjoy the rest of your week. If you're here in the U.S., have a great holiday weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day. I will be back next month. On September 6th is when I will return. That seems like so far away, doesn't it? It's really bizarre. Just the way things work. And of course, here's hoping each and every one of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. Check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.